Good evening.
All right, where are we?
Salim, you're not going away a little bit, Salim?
This summer? No, no, no.
Oh,
I want.
you told me your wife is expecting you.
Yeah, yeah.
Bezrat Hashem. Bezrat Hashem. Bezrat Hashem, when is she expecting?
At the end of the summer.
Yofi, 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 yofi. You had the house over there in the upstate. This is not a long trip. It's nice to have you meet you go for Shabbat.
Yeah, we'll probably do it one time. It's just it's a long drive. Like a two an hour, 2.5, depending on traffic, to get up there.
But it depends when you leave. My wife and myself left the last week at Thursday morning at 9:30. We were there in 2.5 hours. You leave at the right time.
Yeah, no, for sure we go in the morning. It'd probably go Friday early morning, something like that. My father-in-law was there this weekend, this past weekend. Was it nicer by you guys? Did you guys have issues with the storms or
No,
electricity?
thank God we were not affected. No, it's interesting how it was raining Shabbat, but not as much as as in Deal in Lakewood. In Lakewood, there were hundreds of apartments without electricity.
I heard.
How many people shoot? I mean, can you imagine Shabbat, no air conditioning, but no food? All the food, the refrigerators.
And when in Shari Chesed, when you grew up in the summer, they had air conditioning, Rabbi Prague?
But there was never this problem. Never.
It's kind of hot. It was not there.
Hey, that's why I said when he grew up, not 10 years ago, 20 years ago, who had air conditioning? In the car we didn't have air conditioning either. And one time we were driving Salim, and I had a friend, and he wanted to show that he had air conditioning. He really didn't. So we drove in the car with the windows up. Rabbi Prague, can you adjust the camera? You're right. We need air conditioning. We're used to it, but
we got used to it. But this is a good example how we become enslaved to our habits. Because you realize now that it's not there. I mean, my Chavruta went to his children in Lakewood on Shabbat. He says 2 families came to his son, and they didn't have hot food because the electricity was out. The food in the refrigerator spoiled, so they came with the little kids to eat with him. His wife didn't realize Friday, but of course, people need a place to stay. They came. People from Lakewood.
So I asked this to Rabbi Haber on Sunday when I first heard about this thing. So it was Saturday wasn't so bad, right? It was not as bad as Friday. My car said 110. Very, very dangerous. That was Shabbat. At what point would it be mutar for you to, if you have a older person or a very young baby, for you to drive somewhere or call an Uber to go somewhere where it's a better environment? What point does it become mutar to do that? But 110 was to sit in a house. That means the house has to be at least 105 degrees, at least if it's 110 outside.
It's a very good question. But you do realize that even if you have to go, it's only your wife and the baby. You have to stay home, yes. And the other kid is not. It's not the family is moving. You realize,
right?
If a kid needs medicine, the truth is that if you stay under a roof, yes, it's not so much if it's hot or not. If you're outside and the sun is beating on you, but if you're inside and you have inside games and you sit on the floor, especially if you have a basement. In my house, I'm now on the 2nd floor. If I go to the basement now, it's 8 degrees less.
No, I agree with you 100. So my basement, even when it's 110 degrees outside, with no air conditioning, 78, which is very comfortable. Because it's brick on the outside, so that it's very well insulated. The basement, the other 2 floors are very hard because it gets too hot. The air conditioner was running constant and it could barely keep up where to get to 77, 76. Couldn't even get to the temperature that you wanted to get to because it's just too much hot air coming in. So my point is, if the house gets to a dangerous level, so what Rabbi Haber said is back in the day, this is what they used to tell them in Tiveria or something like that, is take a cold shower with your clothes on and sit outside in the shade. That's how you can spend Shabbat. He said that's the best way to do it.
But he is right, isn't he? See,
Or get wet, whatever. Get wet with your clothes, so the wetness, the moistness stays.
Keeps your body.
Keeps your
And
body
you won't
cool.
bring the clothes out.
Don't wring it. I was
You
asking
can't
that. I
wring
was like,
it.
don't wring it out.
That's Shita, right?
It's not your kavana, so it's not like
Oh, right. That's also.
you know you.
Also, I want to tell you, but you have to be honest in that. Let's assume that you got a free ticket to the World Cup. You really, diehard soccer player.
Right.
But it happened on this Shabbat. There's a doubt in your mind, a doubt.
Rabbi Prague, when I grew up, I was most of Shabbos. I didn't want to go to shul already. Enough shul Friday night Shabbat. Okay,
Right?
so I would say to my father, I don't feel well, hypothetically, and he said no problem. But if he used the same example, if there was a baseball game at the Yankee Stadium that you want to go, would you be sick or not sick? It's the same question all the time.
And I'm telling you now.
If I was in shul, Salim.
Yeah, no, I know. I want to answer your question, Rabbi. If it was 110 degrees, there's no one that could pay me an amount of money to go sit and watch any game for I don't know how long, unless it's a very significant amount of money that you have to take it.
Salim,
Same thing with the winter. I will never go to a football game and freeze for 3 hours. Doesn't make any sense.
Salim, you were never a diehard sports.
No, I'm not. I mean, I watch sports, but I'm not diehard for sure.
I told you, Rabbi Tara told me that I forgot, in the middle of cold winter, on Sunday and Monday, a kid says to him, Rabbi, guess where I was? Anyway, he went to Buffalo Bills in Buffalo.
It's crazy. Unbelievable.
Listen good. So here his father took a plane, sitting outside, freezing. Rabbi Tara says, did you consider your comfortable couch in the house? He says, Rabbi, I wanted to see the ball game. This is a diehard, yes? I love to read, but I really love. These days I don't have enough time. But if you give me a book, it's guaranteed that I'm not going to sleep. I mean, not anymore because of my age. But normally I would stay till 4 morning, freezing book. If you bring it today, put me outside at 1:15, not in the sun. The sun is dangerous for me because of my skin. I wouldn't feel the heat. Not the time. I wouldn't feel the heat. If your mind is busy, you don't feel anything. Your mind is busy. This is the key. The problem, of course, that you have with your kids, but you cannot keep them. So if you have, I'm using just an example. What's the favorite game that your son has at this age? Does he know how to play Battlefield? No, it's too young for them.
No, he's 4 years old. No, they build things. They have Legos. They have these blocks.
If you are able to sit down on the floor with your kids and play with him, regardless of the temperature, but you're right. You're afraid for your son's health. Make sure.
No, not my. If you had an infant is different. Infant and very elderly, not able to take the heat.
No, the elderly, then it's a big problem, right? And elderly, especially if you have medical issues. This most likely, you have to take a Uber and go to an air-conditioned home in a hotel or something.
Right.
I have the name of the book is Shlamim Mitzion. The author says that when he was young, in Bnei Brak, this is in the 50s, it was something like that, like this Shabbos.
Okay.
He writes in the book, I was not a butler, I really sat and learned, but this is before air conditioning, we didn't have a fan in the yeshiva. Because it came to a point that we couldn't find. Says to his Chavuta, okay, we cannot learn, let's go visit the Chazon Ish and see what he is doing.
What he thinks in terms of learning?
Yeah, Sam is a learner, that's him. What are you doing? He
Okay.
said, goes to the Chazon Ish, they walk into the room, he didn't notice that they came in, he's into the Gemara. Fine. Wait, oh, yeah, how can I help you? So they told me, he came to ask, how can you learn? He says, the minute your mind, the minute then cop your mind into the Gemara, you don't feel anything.
Yeah.
He says, of course, before I started to learn, but again, Salim, it's not because of the Chazon Ish. Me and you are exactly the same. If you go to a concert of the Beatles, I mean, I see my age, you couldn't care less what the weather is. The Beatles. Whatever is important to you, you do whatever it takes. I mean, it's human nature. Of course, he remembers it for life. To the day that no one was able to. The answer is his mind was not there. If your mind is not there, you don't feel. You are right. If it's an elderly person, it's our obligation to care for him.
Right.
But even an elderly person, if you have a container with cold water, and at least you have a fan. I mean, the best example for me, this is the way I look at it. Everyone that survived the Holocaust, they walked 14 to 16 hours a day. The amount of calories that they got was a third of the normal human being. Why did they survive? How did they survive? Because if someone comes to you and he says to you, here, I'm putting a bullet in your forehead, unless you do A, B, or C, somehow you have the strength to do it. They knew that if you're not rising up to do and you maximize what you have, so this is the question. We got used to a certain type of, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do, and my oldest son is young.
Salim, you're so much younger. No, Salim, you didn't ever had a time where you grew up, you didn't have air conditioning in your room, no?
Of course he had.
No. I don't think so. At least I was born I was born in Syria. So I don't know what they had in Syria. I'm pretty sure they had
No,
it. I don't know.
But even they didn't, right? It just there's a different times. We get used to it.
Yeah.
So what wasn't comfortable then, we don't even remember because now it's like putting on a belt when you have a pair of pants. It's there, fartik. You don't
If you
even
go to
think about
Europe,
it.
there's a lot of places in Europe that don't
Oh,
have air conditions, and you feel it. And I'm like, I was there maybe a couple 5 years ago, something like that. The hotel had it, the office had it, everywhere in between did not have it. Restaurants, you had to eat outside or you're hot. A lot of places outside did not like. If you're living in an apartment over there, a lot of the apartments did not have it. So,
But again, because you're an American and you came from a society that has it, was
right.
Me and my siblings grew up in Shar Chesed, as I mentioned before. Okay, so we were a little lucky that we have a cross ventilation. So even in a very hot day, if you open the balcony facing Wolfson today, my parents, Aleim Shalom, both died 14 years ago and 9 years ago, never had an air conditioning till the end of their life. They never had a, and again, they grew up with it, finished. This is in the summer, you have, come on. But remember, we are afraid to admit because you do it to your kids and I do it to my kids, it's exactly the same.
see, Rabbi Prav, where do we have it in Tanakh? We have it in Tanakh. What did Yaakov say? Achaltani chera v'karetz bal.
Yes. Achalani means I was consumed.
Is there a puff in achalani or is it achaltani?
לא, אכלני, הייתי ביום אכלני חורף.
Oh, right, I think,
קרח בלילה.
right.
In Novardo, we used to give, okay, they were very sharp, so they said the following, remember, it's a metaphor on life. Said there was a very hungry dog, but really hungry, he didn't eat for days, and he's looking for food, he's running all over. Finally, listen carefully, he found a dry bone, completely dry. But he was extremely hungry, so he starts to bite into it. Because the bone is completely dry, so blood starts to come out from his lips, from his tongue, into the bone. And he's sucking his own blood. He says, "What a juicy bone. You're sucking your own blood." Understand? If you grew up, I'm talking about myself, not about anyone, but each one of us is the same. If you grew up, that this is the norm, so if you're missing it, you're missing it. For me and my sister, I'm the Bechor, my sister is a year and a half after me. Shabbat meant that in the summer we have a watermelon and we have one portion of ice cream. This was Shabbat, Gan Eden. And if my father bought soda to put in the refrigerator, you understand? The answer is, no, I'm laughing because I enjoyed Shabbat more than my kids enjoy it. And my grandchildren this Shabbat had twice Shabbat party. One that the grandmother did and one that the father did. And then when they snack and took on their own, from the class, and they opened the freezer on their own and they sneak ice cream. Okay. Did they enjoy Shabbat more than I enjoyed the kids? No. But they are used to, and I got used to what I used to. We are afraid to think about it. If you teach your kids to read, I was elated to see the two of my grandchildren, Yitzchak's children, sit and read, they finish books. I got the books last time, I got a reading books, whatever, kids. When my kids were younger, we didn't have television, so I used to take them every Friday here on 60th Street and 17th. We have a New York Public Library. Each kid came with a bag, plastic bag. And each kid took 4 to 6 books to be returned on Sunday or Monday. The librarian says to me, I was not the only Orthodox Jew that came, says, look at you. All your kids read so much. Look at the Italian kids. They take a book of sports with big pictures and sports here, and not readers. Your kids read. The vocabulary that my kids have, whatever they have is only because of the books that they read, yes? Okay, so again, if you and your wife sit and read stories to your kids, the kids develops. First to read. When I go to a bookstore, it's like you put a kid in the candy store. I'm very careful to do it because I know that. Okay, in the summer I can do it more.
That Rebbetzin Devora will get. That's why you're afraid she's going to do all that.
She does it too, though. She loves to read. She really loves it.
I know she likes to read, but not.
She belongs to a club of readers, and once in 2 weeks they come and they discuss a book.
It's wonderful.
But listen, it gives you a real different relief. Okay, listen. There is a fascinating topic in this week's parasha. This is what people talk about. Listen to a fascinating. Look at the beginning of the parasha. It says twice or 3 times. If a woman makes a neder when she's a na'ara, she's mature, the father has the right to annul. Let's read the pasuk, Perek Lamed. Ve'im heini avia ota beyom shom'o. Heini he annulled. He can annul the day he heard about it. כל נדריה והשריה אשר אסרה על נפשה לא יקום. Whatever she annulled becomes batel, והשם יסלח לה. This is first time. Later it says exactly the same. Look at the Rashi. והשם יסלח לה, בסדר רש"י, במה הכתוב מדבר? Why Hashem יסלח לה? If a father or a husband annul the nadarim that he legally can annul, so she's not chaya. She can drink wine, she can eat food, she can eat cake. For example, a married woman makes a neder, she's not going to eat meat, she's not going to eat food. This is labeled as nidrei inui nefesh. The husband can annul it. Hashem yishlach la on what? Look at the Rashi. במה הכתוב מדבר, ואישה שנדרה בנזיר, means she accepted to become a nazir. ושמע בעלה והפר לה והיא לא ידעה. I mean, to be practical, yeah, she realizes that she has a drinking problem. She becomes a nazir. She's going to stop to drink for 30 days. She goes to a kiddush, a new schnapps, a new wine, and she drinks. ועוברת על נדרה, ושותה יין, ומטמאה למתים. זוהי שצריכה סליחה. ואף על פי שהוא מופר. You hear? When she drank the wine, she didn't do any avera. When she was attending a funeral, she didn't do any avera. Because what you accepted as Nazir was not chal. The husband annulled it. But when you went, you didn't know that your husband annulled it, you need kapara. Says Rashi, ve'im hamufarim tzrichim slicha kal vachomer she'inam mufarim. Okay, so normally we learn this Rashi, which is a sifri, something more. You really wanted to do bad, yes? And you intended to do bad, but you didn't realize that what you're doing is mutar. Now, would you say...
Hey, Rabbi Prak, could you go over the case? She says she doesn't want to drink wine, right?
תקשיב, אבל היא לא אמרה סתם. היא אמרה, אני מקבלת על עצמי נסירות מיד.
Good.
For 30 days, she cannot eat grapes, drink wine, go to funerals, okay?
And
after 2 weeks, meantime, her husband heard about it a week later.
Good.
He said, Mufarlach.
Well, good. But she doesn't know this.
Normally, you should tell her right away, Mufarlach, finish. She doesn't know. She goes to a party and she's unaware that she is allowed to drink wine. And there is fresh wine, good wine. She didn't touch it for 2 weeks. She drinks it knowingly and willingly. This is a soup for her because Correct. She doesn't know. Says the Torah of Hashem, she needs a kapara from Hashem. Why? What she did was perfectly mutar. Yes. This is the pasuk. This goes the pasuk. So you look at the Rashi brings the Gemara in Kiddushin. See Kiddushin, Pei Aleph Amud Bet. Go to Kiddushin, Pei Aleph Amud Bet. This is Mamash, but at the end of Masechet Kiddushin. Okay, if you want, I'll give you the story because the story is a good story before you understand how the Gemara over there talks. Last pages is how careful you have to be for Misur Yichud we're attracted to women. So we listen to this. If you have a Kiddushin 81b in the white line, Rabchia Barashi have a ragil, kol idan, have a nafal le'apel. Every time he did Nesiat Kapayim. Vayas Nesiat Kapayim means to fall like this. By them it meant to fall on the floor. Have Amar Harachaman Yatzilenu miyetzer hara. Yetzer hara by them means the attraction to women. Yom Achad, one day, Shamatinu Dvitu, his wife heard her husband praying, Hashem, please help me not to fall into Yetzer hara v'arayot. Amra, why is my husband praying? Bichde hakama shani v'paresh laminai. Few years already, he doesn't touch me. My ta'ama ka'amarach. Obviously, this is what she is asking herself. And now she wants to test her husband. Yom Achada Ave Kagaris Begintin. One day he is sitting and studying in
his garden.
She, his wife, Kishta Nafsha, she got dressed very attractive. She put makeup, she looks good. Chalva Betanya Kameh. She is going back and forth in front of him. I mean, let's say he's sitting in the garden and she is walking on the sidewalk. Few times. Amala Mana, who are you? Amrale Ana Charuta de Hadriyoma. I am this famous prostitute. I wasn't in town, but how she says Shem Zonan Keret Bayir. And before, when it says Kishan Afshara, she says Betachshiteya, Kishutei Bsamim Ve'afar Samon. She had good perfumes. Tava, can you imagine? He says to her, let's have a relationship. And he's learning. Amra le, listen carefully. Aiten nihali le'ach wumna. Listen good, he's an older man. And she says to him, you see the branch on top of the palm tree? The branch, climb up and pick it up. Which means, normally an older man cannot do it, barely a regular man. But right now, there's a very strong desire to the woman, and she wants to test him how serious he is. Shavar, Rashi says, Kafatz, Azal, At Yoniala. He brings it to her. Okay. The Gemara stops here. Remember, this is his wife. He thinks that she's a prostitute.
Or if they have sex and she's really not a prostitute,
but as far as he knows, she is.
It's right.
Or at least, he wanted to have a relationship with her. He comes home. She puts fire in the oven and he goes into the burning oven and sits in. Amra my high, where is it? Amar la hachi behachi avemas. He told her exactly the mindset of the prostitute, which is really his wife. And he told her, I failed. Here I thought that I am, I'm cured. Amra le anavaya. This was me, not a prostitute. I was the woman. The Ashgach Ba, he thought that she's a good wife, and she's trying to make him feel good that she was the one. She gave him certain signs that this was her. Fine. From this sentence, you see that we did have a relationship. he says to her, I meant to do Maaseh Asur. It's very nice, and thank God you are my wife, but my kavanah, כל ימיו של אותו צדיק היה מתענה עד שמת באותה מיטה. For the rest of his life, he was repenting, fasting because of his intent. Intent was to do something wrong. Tanya, why? Now the Gemara brings our case. Isha hafeiram, we just saw it in Rashi. Isha hafeiram, והשם יסלח לה. במה הכתוב מדבר באישה שנדרה בנזיר, ושמע בעלה, והפר לה. She is unaware that the husband was annulling her vow, והיא לא ידעה שהפר לה בעלה. והייתה שותה יין, ומטמאה למתים. Now listen to this. Rabbi Akiva, you have a Mati Lahai Pesuka. When Rabbi Akiva was learning this Pasuk, Rabbi Bachi used to cry, Amar, ומה מי שנתכוון לאכול בשר חזיר, ועלה בידו בשר טלה, אמרה תורה צריכה כפרה, you really wanted to eat non-kosher. Accidentally, they served you kosher. Right? This lady wanted to drink something that for her was like chazir. צריכה כפרה וסליחה, מי שנתכוון לאכול בשר חזיר, ועלה בידו בשר חזיר, על אחת כמה וכמה. But you should know that this is only by a person that normally doesn't eat chazir. This time, he had a strong desire, he wanted to eat the chazir, but he ate kosher. He needs kapara.
But the other one doesn't. But didn't we say about Shem Yitzlach? Wait, I'm really.
But remember, Hashem Yislach La, she took the zirut upon herself. Had she drank wine while she was a Nazir, she gets 39 lashes, the same as a man, it's Averah Min Torah. But the husband was annulling.
But she had the kavanah, though.
Good, good. So he says, Uma mi shenitkaven le'echol basar chazir. Yes. ועלה בידו בשר טלה. By the woman, she wanted chazir, the yain is chazir. ועלה בידו בשר טלה. Why? Because the husband was annulling it. And the Torah says, she צריכה כפרה. Right? מי שנתכוון לאכול בשר חזיר, ועלה בידו בשר חזיר, על אחת כמה וכמה, if a man really wanted to eat non-kosher, יהיה non-kosher על אחת כמה וכמה. כיוצא בדבר, אתה אומר, ולא ידע, והשם ונעשה עוונו. Where is this pasuk written? כשהיה רבי עקיבא מגיע לפסוק זה היה בוכה. מה מי שמתכוון לאכול שומן? This is a fact. The man thought that the meat on the table is kosher. ועלה בידו חלב, non-kosher. אמרה התורה ולא ידע, והאשם ונעשה עוונו, זה כפרה, מי שנתכוון לאכול חלב, his כוונה was to eat non-kosher. ועלה בידו חלב, על אחת כמה וכמה. Which means So you realize Rabbi Akiva twice says it. We are going to show that we have to look at the Rambam. Normally you learn this Gemara as, okay, you did something wrong because your intent. But the question is it only the intent or because of the intent and you did something positive, even though what you did, there's nothing wrong with it, but the halacha looks on it as if you ate non-kosher. Listen to something fascinating. There was one of the greatest Sephardic rabbis about 150 years ago. Listen to his case. This is the name of the Sefer Tshuvot is Mutzal Ma'esh. I'm reading for a book. From Mahari Al-Fandri. Listen to the case. A married woman, with her father and husband, was overseas on a business trip, had knowingly and willingly relationship with a man. But then she finds out that when she had a relationship with him, her husband was dead.
Her husband what?
Her husband was not alive, which means she was single.
Oh, God.
You hear this? Mamash, our case. You realize she has a relationship with a man as an Eshet Ish. She's unaware that she's not an Eshet Ish. So, of course, listen carefully. Of course, that the Gemara that we just saw applies to her, but she needs a kapara. But the Mahari Al-Fandri wants to know a fascinating question. Please listen. The rule is, if a man has a relationship with a married woman and her husband divorces her, he cannot marry her. Asura la ba'al, asura la boy. You catch an Eshet Ish that had an affair with someone, her husband has to divorce her, she's asura to her husband, vela boy. The man she had a relationship cannot marry her even after she is divorced. The Mahari Al-Fandri wants to know, can this woman now marry the man that she had an affair with him, but Be'emet, she was single, but she didn't know. Can she marry? Fascinating question. You see how
technically, why not?
Oh, why not? Yeah. Salim says, why not?
It was a Pnuya at the time.
Salim says, reality is she's a Pnuya.
Right.
Okay, we are going to look at the Rambam. And two people talk about it. The Birkei Yosef, which I gave away mine, so I don't have it. The P'tchei Teshuvah, or P'tchei Teshuvah I have. P'tchei Teshuvah Ibn Ha'ezer, Siman Yitzay. I wouldn't go now because it'll take me time, but they both talk about it. Salim says yes. We are going to see in the Rambam if you have access, open the Rambam, Perek Yud Bet Halacha Yud Chet Minedarim, which means Sefer Hafla'ah. Salim, Dari Sefer Hafla'ah. Perek Yud Bet Milchot Nedarim Halacha Yud Chet. You see, Sefer Hafla'ah, Milchot Nedarim, Perek Yud Bet Halacha Yud Chet. Listen carefully what he says. Second half. Nadra והפר לאהב או הבא. She made a certain neder or nazir, and either the husband or the father annulled. והיא לא ידעה שהפר. She didn't know that he annulled. ועברה על נדרה או על שבועתה בזדון. Knowingly, she drank the wine, she ate the food. הרי זו פטורה, שמים פטורה for what? פטורה ממלכות.
Because she gets 39 malkot
אף על
otherwise.
פי שנתכוונה לאיסור, הואיל ונעשה ההיתר פטורה. So according to the Rambam, the Pasuk, it's not simply telling me, hey, you need some type of forgiveness. You committed the crime, but it's a gzerat hakatuv that you're not getting malkot. Look again, פטורה for malkot, ועל זה נאמר, והשם יסלח לה, כי איני אביה אותה. Listen to the Rambam Salim, ומקים אותה מכת מרדות, מפני שנתכוונה לאיסור. The Rambam says she does get malkot with the Rabbanan. Why doesn't she get malkot in the Torah? Because we have a pasuk, right? Hashem Yislach La. Says the Rav of Bris. What is the Rambam telling us?
Wow.
The act is a full act of an Avirah. The Torah wrote a special pasuk to exempt you from normal malkot, but the Avirah is asur.
So you get malkot mardut that way.
Good, Makot Mardut is with the Rabbanan. Okay, it's less than 39 or whatever. But you see clearly, it's not you need a kapara, like, okay, feel guilty a little bit. It's an Avirah.
He splits it in two. Wow, wow, wow.
Let's it in two. Now you understand beautifully what is the Maria Alfandri Mistapeh. Salim said, logically, he was right. Of course she's mutar to marry this guy. The Maria Alfandri wants to know, you see the Rambam, the Rambam said, I split it, it's Avirah. It's an Avirah, not with a full-fledged punishment. Is this type of Avirah make it asur on the man or no? Only if you really need a full-fledged relationship with a man, then it's asur. This is why it's a affair. I didn't look in the Petchet Teshuvah, but I would look to see what the Petchet Teshuvah really says. She's mutar or asur. But it's an eye-opener, the Rambam, yes? It's not simply, okay, you have to feel guilty because you really, the Rambam says you did something, you did it.
So I have a very small proof against it. So I heard it one time when you're in Amidah, for example, right? We have the concept shomer ka'oneh. So when you hear something, it's like you said it. But if you're in Amidah, how could you shomer ka'oneh to, like, say, Nagdisha?
Of course, everyone is asking it. Yeah.
Right. How could it be possible?
Safot are asking it on Rashi.
Right. So one time I heard an explanation is Hashem counts the machshava good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. For not good stuff, no.
Good. You hear what he says? Rashi says in Masechet Berachot, if you are in the middle of Amidah, you are in the middle of Rafael, and the Chazan says Kedusha, be silent, listen to him, and be yotzeh with him. So Tosafot are asking, if Shomea is Keoneh, I'm in the middle of Amidah. I'm not allowed to say Kadosh Kadosh. So why am I allowed to listen? Says Salim, Machshava Tova Kadosh Baruch Hu Metzarfa Lema'aseh. Salim, this is what you have. Machshava Ra'ah Ela Kadosh Baruch Hu Metzarfa Lema'aseh. So it's cute. Those who want to defend Rashi says, well, the good part, which is the Kadosh Kadosh, Hashem counts, but the bad part that you did wrong, so to say, Hashem doesn't count. This is cute.
Right.
What's the real answer, Salim?
This is the same thing here. She had a machshava to do avirah, but it wasn't the avirah.
My friend,
the reality is
the difference is that over there you are silent. Halachically, it counts as if you are saying,
right.
The woman slept with a man. Here the woman drank the
while she was a penuya.
Okay.
I want to make sure that's
The Rambam to
you had a
us.
machshava to do a avera, but the machshava is not counted.
Tells the Rambam to us. If it's only machshava, fine. This is the Rambam. This is the Rashi and Tosfot by Tefillah. It's only machshava.
Right.
Shev kadosh kadosh. I'm not doing it. Even though the halacha tells me shomea ke'oneh, but in reality it remains a machshava. So we can hear that I'm not being punished, so to say. Here she did it. She blamed the one. She slept with the man. But by the way, Salim, over there, the classic explanation, Machloket Rashi and Tosfot is, we said it more than once, more than 10 times. What is Shomea Ke'oneh? I
Yes.
motzimi. I didn't do anything. Listening, I'm not saying. You.
Or did I really say something?
Yeah.
Safot understood it is as if I'm saying.
Right.
Safot are asking on Rashi, how can you do it? You're not allowed to say Kadosh, Kadosh in the middle. But of course, those who defend Rashi say, Rashi has a totally different approach to Shomea Ke'oneh. By me just listening to you, I'm not saying. Listening to Kiddush, I'm not saying. Listening is like saying, but not really saying. And that Hashem will continue tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Mazel
Right.
tov,
How about
everybody. Good night, everybody.
Right.